It's late morning on a beautiful day, nice and dry, very calm, and this is the perfect weather to be harvesting a lot of things, especially herbs and flowers like calendula flowers. And my fingers are already sticky from the resins of the flowers I've already picked. This is a variety that I grow specifically for soap making, skincare, and herbalism. And I'd like to show you exactly how I harvest it and then how I take it inside to dry and talk about some of the many uses that you can get from this powerful little flower. I have calendula growing in a few places around the garden this year. This massive bed here is the main patch, and it's flanked on either side by rather new lavender hedges, which I think I might make a video about in the future. Let me know if that's something that interests you. And now in summer, when the flowers are at their best, when the leaves are at their best, this is the best time to be harvesting this beautiful flower to not only use right away, but you can also dry it out so that you have a reserve of calendula flowers year-round. Although you will see this flower blooming all throughout the year, even in the dead of winter, this is when the resins and those active constituents are at their peak.
Calendula is one of the easiest flowers that you can grow. It's a hardy annual that's happy in most soils, but give it a sunny, well-drained spot and it will reward you with flowers from late spring into autumn. The flowers also have so many uses. In the garden, calendula is a bright and cheerful companion plant that attracts pollinators like honeybees and hoverflies.
Calendula flowers come in different colors. The most common you'll find are orange, like these, or yellow, but you can also get pale yellow, pink, and even kind of a bronzy color. No matter the color, you can harvest them to use in cooking, in skincare, soap making, natural dyeing, so much. And when I'm harvesting them, when I'm picking them, I reach a couple fingers underneath the flower just to hold it, and then I pluck the stem under that. And that helps to take the entire flower head off without pulling up the plant or damaging the stem. Because if you look closely, you will see tons of other little flower buds underneath just waiting to bloom. And the more you pick, the more your plants will bloom. So do not be afraid to pick every single fully open blooming flower. Calendula flowers are incredibly popular with pollinators, with honeybees, with hoverflies, with bumblebees. I even saw a bumblebee back behind me asleep in one of the flowers. So you might notice this on yours too, and that might make you a little bit reluctant to pick every single open flower. Well, let me reassure you on that. If you pick every single fully open flower, that means that you're leaving the partially open ones, like this one here, and of course all of the buds underneath. And when you pick those flower heads off the top, it stimulates the plant into pushing these buds into flower. And so before you know it, literally 2, 3, 4 days later, your entire patch will be blooming again. And so that keeps your flowers in production, and it also can stop too many seed heads from ripening on these plants and then self-seeding. You want a little bit of that, but not too much. And then speaking of those pollinators and those insects, not only are there ones that we can see on these flowers, but there are little tiny ones inside as well. And so we need to do a little step before we take these into the house. If you took these flowers inside with you right now to dry, then you would also be taking in a lot of wildlife, unwanted wildlife. There are teeny tiny insects that live inside flower heads, including calendula. And in my case, they're thrips. It might be different in your location. But what we need to do is just give those little creatures a chance to escape. And so on a bright day like this, no rain forecast, I'll just put a clean cloth out here on the table. It's outdoors, airy, and then I will spread the flowers out on it. And I'll leave them here for at least an hour, but usually overnight. And that gives all those insects a chance to vacate. I often get asked, should I wash my calendula flowers or wash my herbs in general? And the answer is no. As long as you're picking flowers that are clean, that are healthy looking, and that you're sure that a dog hasn't lifted their leg on, then all you need to do is give a chance for those little insects to leave. And insects don't make your flowers dirty. Nature isn't dirty. So don't wash your flowers, but allow those insects to vacate. The other thing with washing flowers is that it adds more moisture. And that's something that you want to avoid when you're trying to dry them out. And in fact, leaving these flowers out here on this cloth, all nicely spread out for at least an hour, will give some of that moisture in the flowers themselves a chance to evaporate off. So you'll come back on a sunny day and these will be a little bit wilted. An hour has passed and I'm not seeing any signs of any aphids or thrips or anything like that. But what I am seeing is bees, so bumblebees, hoverflies, honeybees, on these flowers still collecting nectar. And so I think I'm gonna leave these outside just a little bit longer. But fortunately, I have some calendula that I've left in the greenhouse overnight. So let's go in there, we'll get those, bring them inside, and I'll let these carry on kind of drying out slightly and allowing the pollinators to get what they need from them before I take them inside to start drying as well. If you have the time and a covered outdoor space like this, then this is what I really recommend you do. Leaving the flowers overnight like this has cleared all of the insects. There's no pollinators visiting these anymore. It's also dried out the flowers slightly, so it's taken the damp off, which will help to speed up drying. And they still smell just like calendula. They are perfectly fine. I would not recommend drying them completely in some place that's as bright as this, because light can really zap the color and the potential effectiveness of calendula when you're using it in herbalism. So we're going to take these into the house and we're going to finish drying them off inside. And there's a couple of different ways that you can go about doing it. You can use fresh calendula petals in food recipes and also in soap making. And with soap making, you take the petals, you pluck them from the flower, and then you can stir them right into your soap batter. And then during the curing process, they'll be preserved perfectly and they'll retain their color. I've got a calendula flower soap recipe if you'd like to check that out. But mainly we dry them out, and we do it now in summer when they're at their peak potential, when they are sticky with that resin, when they are just glowing with color. And we do that because this is when they're at their peak. And we also want to have a supply of these for the next year or so. And so there are a few different ways that you can dry calendula flowers. And I use two methods. I air dry, or I use a food dehydrator. And I often get asked about can you dry herbs and flowers in the oven? For those of you who maybe might not have a food dehydrator, you can, but the heat is just a little bit too much. And you do have to prop the oven door open a little bit so that moisture is able to escape. It's much better to get a food dehydrator. And this is what I use when the weather or the climate inside the house is a little bit cool, maybe a little bit muggy, so humid, and this will help to dry them out quickly. I've had this food dehydrator for 16 years. So it's a good investment if you're going to be drying a lot of herbs or edible flowers or medicinal flowers. And I dried these last night. I had them set at 40 Celsius and they were drying for about 4 hours. But of course, the drying time is going to be different based on how many tiers of flowers you have in there and how tightly packed you have them. Ideally, you want lots of airflow around each of the flowers so that it'll dry much quicker. Now, as far as drying them whole, or drying the petals. It really comes down to what you're going to be using them for in the future. So with calendula flower petals, this is the part you would use if you are using calendula in food recipes or in soap making. And it just saves that task of plucking them later and that extra time of having to dry out the entire flower head if you are just using those parts. So in that case, you can just pluck the petals off like this, and they dry relatively quickly. I've even dried these in the past on paper towels. They dry out within a day. And that's key also if you are air drying, like using this type of a contraption. I've had this again for many, many years, maybe as long as I've had this. And if you just have a small amount of flowers to dry out, or herbs or anything, this is perfect. It's just cotton fabric stretched on this rack. You can take these off to wash them, but of course they do get stained over time. And the cotton does absorb moisture, but it also evaporates off. This is really, really clever. I don't think they make these anymore, but I have actually made a version of this using an old sheet and bamboo canes from the garden, and I had it in my shed one year. And this is absolutely fantastic. You don't have to spend a fortune to have a good drying rack. And I have a much bigger one that I use more commonly now because I do dry a lot of calendula flowers, a lot of different leafy herbs, and I'd like to show it to you. It's over in my workroom. Through this door is my workroom, and this is where I keep my herbs, all my soap making materials, skincare making, and the pets are not allowed in here. I keep the door closed. And in the summertime, I have this mesh rack suspended from the ceiling. There's a hook on the ceiling there. And this is where I dry everything from peppermint and marshmallow leaves to lavender, and of course calendula. And there's a few tiers of them here. This is pretty new stuff. It's still quite wet. Just down below, this is almost dry. It takes about a week for it to dry out completely in here this time of the year. There's some down here that's also quite new stuff. It's a little bit dry in places, but still wet. And then a few more down below. And this mesh lets air flow through, so it really does help to speed up the drying process. And then once it's all dried out, I put the calendula or whatever herbs into storage, and I've got some over here. One thing that I do want to point out is that I have a dehumidifier running in here at all times. It takes moisture out of the air from soap that's curing and also from any herbs that are drying. And then when water fills up at the bottom, I literally just open up my window here and I dump it out underneath. So I'm just watering my plants out here. I've got a lot of plants that are kind of waiting to be planted out here along the right-hand side. And then in the beds on the other side, I've got Jerusalem artichoke, which have been struggling in the drought we've been having. And then in this bed, that is madder. And madder root is a natural soap colorant. I grow my own, and I have actually made a video showing how I grow it and use it in soap making. If you have the space for it and you have a lot of calendula flowers to dry out, I would highly recommend getting one of those drying racks. It's really inexpensive, and you can hang it up in your garage, you can hang it up in your house, you can hang it up potentially in a shed, someplace like that, and it helps to dry the flowers out really quickly. I tend to dry all of my flowers, my calendula flowers, whole these days. I used to pluck them out, but it's also just quite easy to do the plucking after it's already dried like that. And so doing it this way makes it more versatile for me, because I do make a lot of calendula infused oil, because I make salves, I make hand creams, I make skin creams, and you really want the green part when you're making infused oil or you're using calendula for medicinal purposes as well. And then the next step is storage. Most people would aim for storing their lovely botanicals in glass jars like this, and I do too. But what I find is that in winter, when it's cooler, maybe I've been cooking or making soap or doing something and there's humidity in the air, if you open up one of these jars to use calendula or to use something and then you close it back up, especially once the jar is half empty or so, then humid air gets trapped inside. It can cause the botanicals, the dried herbs and flowers inside to go a bit soft, and they can actually mold inside these jars. And it has happened to me. And so I use a little bit less of an aesthetic way to store calendula flowers, and that is in Ziploc bags, ordinary bags. And I know some people are averse to using plastic, but I'll tell you why. And I will show you why. So with a Ziploc bag, say I only have a couple handfuls of calendula left, I can have them in this bag and then I can roll all of the air out, seal it up, and it's pretty air-free in there. I mean, not 100%, but it's good enough, and this helps keep them stored better for longer. On the other hand, if you put that same amount of calendula, dried calendula, into a jar and then seal it up nice and airtight from the lid, you've trapped quite a lot of air inside, and that air could be laden with moisture. It could be quite moist, especially in your home, especially in winter. And not only that, it is filled with oxygen, and oxygen can affect the shelf life of botanicals as well. So although this is a lovely way to store calendula flowers and other dried botanicals, I do prefer using Ziploc bags. And you can also write on the front what exactly they are really easily, the date or the month, and then store this in a dark cupboard. It's very aesthetic to have all of your herbs and flowers displayed in a bright place or your workspace, but light, oxygen, moisture, these are all enemies to storing botanicals long term. When you have lots of dried calendula ready to go, you have so many different uses for it. You are spoiled for choice. What I tend to do with it though is make an infused oil, because a lot of the active constituents in calendula flowers are oil soluble. That means they extract very easily into oil. And then once you have that calendula oil ready to go, you can use it in so many ways. You could use it in cooking if you wanted to, salad dressings, but you could also use it to make salves, skin creams, all sorts of wonderful skincare products. And I have lots of ideas here on Lovely Greens and on my website too that will show you how to use calendula oil. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I'll put a couple on the screen if you'd like to go over and check out some calendula uses and ways to use calendula oil. And of course, as always, if you've got any questions about this, leave me a comment down below. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.